Have you ever walked into a room and completely forgotten why you went in there? Maybe it's a name that slips your mind, or a word that's right on the tip of your tongue. If you've found yourself nodding along already, you're not alone. After 70, those little lapses in memory can feel frustrating or even a bit scary. But here's the good news. Your brain is still incredibly capable, and with just a few simple habits, you can keep your thinking sharp and your memory strong. Think of your brain like a garden. The more you tend it, watering it, giving it sunlight, pulling the weeds, the more it thrives. And just like gardening, keeping your brain fit doesn't mean solving 1,000-piece puzzles every day or diving into complicated brain training apps. There are simple, enjoyable activities that can do even more to keep your mind fast, clear, and focused. That's exactly what we'll explore in this video. 5 brain-boosting habits that are enjoyable, effective, and perfect for life after 70. Let's start with something you might already be doing without realizing how powerful it really is. Conversation. Yes, just chatting. Whether it's with your neighbor over the fence or on the phone with your grandkids, real conversation exercises parts of your brain responsible for memory, attention, and even emotion. It's not about small talk. It's about being fully present in the moment, following the flow of thought, responding, laughing, listening. These exchanges keep your mental gears turning. You know that feeling after a good conversation? That lightness, the sense of connection, of being seen and heard? That's not just social. Your brain is lighting up, forming and strengthening neural pathways. So if you've ever felt like your brain gets foggy on the days you don't talk to anyone, there's a reason. Make it a point to have at least one meaningful interaction each day. It doesn't have to be long, just intentional. Another great brain workout that often gets overlooked is learning something new, especially a new skill that challenges coordination and thinking at the same time. This could be something as simple as taking up a new card game, learning to knit a more complex pattern, or trying your hand at playing a musical instrument. The goal isn't to be perfect. It's to keep your brain stretching. Take, for example, Rita, a woman I spoke to recently who decided at age 74 to learn Italian. Not because she planned to travel, but because it reminded her of her childhood neighbor, Mrs. Grimaldi, who used to sing while hanging laundry. Rita started watching short videos, writing down vocabulary, even talking to herself in the mirror. "I laugh at myself every day," she told me, "but I can feel my brain waking up in ways it hasn't in years." That's the power of novelty. It keeps your brain on its toes. And here's the thing. You don't need to master a new language or memorize complicated routines. Even just doing things differently, like brushing your teeth with your non-dominant hand or taking a new route on your walk, can reawaken parts of the brain that are rarely used. It's all about shaking up your patterns even slightly to remind your mind that it's alive, curious, and capable of change. Let's move to something else that might surprise you. Storytelling. Not writing a novel or standing on a stage, but simply recalling your own memories and turning them into a narrative. Think of a moment from your childhood. Who was there? What did it smell like? What were you wearing? The more you build the scene, the more active your brain becomes, not just in memory, but in visualization, emotional regulation, and logic. Sharing stories with family is powerful, not just for passing on wisdom or traditions, but for keeping your mind vibrant. And if you don't have someone to share them with directly, try keeping a little journal. Write down just one story a week. It doesn't have to be long or perfect. Over time, you'll notice something strange and beautiful happening. Memories you thought were long gone start bubbling up, fresh and detailed, almost like your mind knows you're paying attention again. And this brings me to a deeper point. Your brain wants to be noticed. When you stop pushing it, challenging it, celebrating it, it gets quieter. Not because it's weak, but because, like any muscle, it thrives on use. Now that we've talked about the power of conversation, the importance of learning something new, and how storytelling can be like cardio for the mind, let's shift toward another surprisingly effective habit: movement. Yes, physical movement. You might be thinking, what does walking or stretching have to do with my brain? But let me tell you, more than most people realize. When we move our bodies, especially in ways that get the heart gently pumping, we're increasing blood flow to the brain. That blood flow brings oxygen and nutrients, and it also clears away waste. Think of it like watering a plant and pulling the weeds at the same time. And we're not talking about training for a marathon. A simple walk around the block, a bit of light dancing in the kitchen while the tea steeps, even gardening, kneeling, bending, standing, moving with intention. These activities don't just benefit your body, they activate key areas in the brain involved in memory and focus. A moving body supports a thinking mind. There's even a kind of movement called mindful movement that's especially powerful for brain health. You've probably heard of Tai Chi or gentle yoga. These practices link motion to breath, thought, and awareness. So when you're moving slowly and deliberately, you're also training your attention, your balance, and your brain's ability to process subtle cues. It's like strength training for the mind and body at once, without the strain or risk of injury. I remember speaking with a gentleman named Mark, who began practicing Tai Chi at 76 after his doctor recommended it for balance. He said, "I thought it was silly at first, slow and strange. But after a few weeks I noticed I wasn't forgetting where I left my keys as much. I was sleeping better. Even my conversations felt sharper." That's the hidden gift of mindful movement. It doesn't just steady your body, it wakes up your brain. Now let's talk about creativity. And no, you don't need to be an artist or a writer to tap into this brain-boosting habit. Creativity simply means allowing your mind to explore, connect, imagine. It could be painting, yes, but it could also be rearranging furniture, trying a new recipe, sketching a plant on your windowsill, or humming a tune into your phone and listening back. Engaging in creative tasks activates different regions of the brain than those used for logic or memory recall alone. It requires flexible thinking, emotional insight, and sometimes even risk-taking. It pushes the boundaries of what you already know and invites new connections to form. That's the key to cognitive resilience. New connections. They keep your brain adaptable, which is one of the biggest predictors of long-term brain health. I once met a woman named Denise who had never touched a paintbrush until she was 81. One of her grandchildren had given her a watercolor set for Christmas, and she said it sat on her table for months, until one rainy afternoon she opened it out of boredom. By spring, she'd covered an entire notebook with soft, dreamy sketches of her garden. "I look at things differently now," she told me. "I notice shades I never paid attention to before, and when I paint, my mind just settles. It's like meditation." That quiet focus is exactly what we need more of as we age. Not just stillness, but engagement that's deep, intentional, and rewarding. You don't have to be good at it. The benefit is in the doing, the spark it lights up inside you. Now, let's not forget how powerful it is to simply reflect, to spend even a few minutes a day reviewing your thoughts, your memories, your experiences. This isn't about dwelling on the past, it's about finding meaning in it. Reflecting helps organize thoughts and clarify what matters most. And when done regularly, it improves cognitive clarity. Many people do this through journaling, but it could also be through prayer, meditation, or even talking out loud to yourself in a quiet room. When you reflect, your brain starts to recognize patterns in your life. It connects events, creates narratives, strengthens memory links. You begin to better understand yourself and the choices you've made, which leads to emotional clarity and reduced stress, both key factors in keeping your brain sharp and resilient. One man I worked with, Harold, used to end each day by asking himself just 3 questions. What did I enjoy today? What challenged me? And what am I grateful for? He said it helped him sleep better, but more importantly, it made each day feel full, even the quiet ones. That habit became a kind of mental tune-up, just 5 minutes that kept his mind running smoothly. We often think brain health means endless activity, but sometimes the most powerful growth happens in stillness, in focus, in choosing where we place our attention. And the truth is, our attention is one of the few things we truly control. Even as the world shifts around us, we can still choose to learn, to move, to create, to reflect. And as you continue on your journey, remember this: your brain isn't slowing down because of age, it's slowing down because of disuse. But the moment you start using it with purpose again, something incredible happens. You start noticing more, thinking more clearly, feeling more alive. Let's keep that momentum going, because we're not done yet. There's one more habit that might surprise you: conversation. Simple, everyday talking. Not giving speeches or debating politics, unless you enjoy that, of course, but genuine back and forth exchanges. Conversations are powerful brain workouts. They involve listening, interpreting, remembering details, responding appropriately, all within seconds. It's a dance of cognition that keeps your mind agile and alive. Think about it. When you're chatting with someone, even about something as ordinary as your favorite soup recipe or a neighbor's new garden gnome, your brain is firing on multiple levels. You're pulling from memory, processing language, picking up emotional cues, and forming thoughts in real time. That's no small task, and it's one of the most natural, joyful ways to keep your brain in shape. The key is connection. Real, human connection. Studies show that older adults who regularly engage in meaningful conversations have a lower risk of cognitive decline. But even more than that, they report feeling more optimistic, more engaged with life, and more hopeful about the future. That hope is essential. It feeds the mind and the heart alike. Let me share a moment that stuck with me. A retired teacher I once met named Glenn told me how he started a coffee group in his apartment building. Every Thursday morning, 5 or 6 neighbors would gather in the common room to talk about anything and everything. "We call it the brain circle," he joked, "but it's just us rambling and laughing and remembering things we didn't know we still knew." He said those chats sharpened his recall better than any crossword ever had. And that's exactly the point. Brain health doesn't always require formal effort. It thrives on engagement, on being present, on choosing to show up for yourself and others. You don't have to solve puzzles or memorize poetry, unless you want to. You just have to stay curious. Curious about your own thoughts, about the world around you, about the people you meet. And when you do, the fog lifts. Words come easier. Decisions feel clearer. You start to notice that you're not losing your edge, you're sharpening it. Every conversation, every walk, every sketch or story or stretch of stillness adds a thread to the web of your cognition. Bit by bit, your brain becomes not just more resilient, but more alive with you. Now, before we wrap up, let's take a breath together. Really, inhale slowly, exhale softly. Feel the moment settle. That stillness is powerful. Even just a few seconds of conscious breathing calms the nervous system and centers your focus. It's a reset button for the brain. It tells your body, I'm here, I'm present, and I'm paying attention. These simple things, movement, creativity, reflection, conversation, and breath, aren't flashy. They don't need to be. They're consistent, gentle, effective, and most importantly, they are entirely within your reach, no matter your age or background. So, maybe the next time you feel a little foggy, or find yourself wondering where you put your glasses again, don't panic. Don't tell yourself the old myth that this is just how it is after 70. That's not truth. It's habit, and habits can change. Start small. One walk around the garden, one sketch on a napkin, one story shared with a friend. These are not trivial actions. They are investments. Investments in your mind, your spirit, your future self. Remember, you're not trying to reverse time. You're simply claiming the clarity that's still very much yours. Because clarity isn't a thing of the past. It's a skill you can sharpen. And like any skill, it only takes practice. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this gave you not only helpful ideas, but hope. You deserve both. And if something in this video resonated with you, maybe reminded you of someone, or sparked a thought, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear what habits keep your mind sharp. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you never miss the tips, stories, and support we share every week. Here's to your sharpest years still being ahead of you. Here's to staying clear, connected, and alive. Here's to living your best life at any age.